welcome. Lawrence
Welcome. Thank
back
you.
to
Yes.
Talented Tea. I'm so
Thank
happy.
you.
So happy that I am able to connect with you again
Yes.
and vibe out and talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Child. This is like, it's been too long.
It has. It has. Let's think like maybe 12 years.
Has it been 12 years, Lawrence?
I think. I don't remember, but it's over 10, right? About
Maybe.
10.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been lucky enough, thank you to social media, to have followed you this whole time all
I
over the world.
know. Oh.
And what a privilege it is to watch you rise
Oh.
and to know that you're safe now, you
Yes.
know.
Oof. Child, that was an ordeal,
Mm,
let me tell you. But
I'm
yes, I'm
sure.
happy. I'm so happy. And yes, we are blessed to have this social media and this whole Zoom thing to connect and reconnect and keep in
Crazy.
touch. And, although we haven't really kept in touch, it's like,
Oh no, I
sorry, my
keep
dog's
tabs on
here.
you. Don't you worry.
Listen, I keep tabs on you too, honey. Okay, I be watching, but that ship internet. Sometimes you could just look and it gets frozen, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay. Well, this was loaded from earlier, so that's all I can do right now." And that's
Well,
what you got to
to
work with.
age us a bit and to kind of put a mark on how long it's been,
Yes.
when we worked together, the internet on a phone was like brand new.
Okay. Very brand.
Like we were on iPhone 2s and 3s at the time. So
Flip
like
phones.
I don't even remember.
Flip phones. Flip phones, child. That was just crazy.
Yes.
But anyway,
I
everything behind you. Everything behind
know.
you is just
Welcome to my home.
yes. Thank you. I'm here.
Well, this is actually some of my art. I
Oh,
just am coming off the heels of my professional debut, and
yes.
um, it was a dream.
Oh,
It was a dream.
oh
And so even like I'm such a novice
mm.
that even sharing my art is new for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
beautiful though. It's so
Thank you.
full of
Oh,
life,
thank
honey.
you.
Full of life.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. Yes, let's
Thank
talk about
you.
it. Let's talk about it, child. So, okay,
Yeah,
before we start, let's talk about how long you've been in the industry, in the arts industry.
for
Tell us.
sure. So I have been in the performing arts industry since I was a child.
Mm,
I got my professional debut at 14 doing opera. Before that, I was accomplished pianist and organist.
yes.
I had done dance, I had done theater, I had done music. I went to boarding school for the arts. I went to college conservatory for the arts. I have always been very grateful for my arts education.
Yeah.
I don't even think I would be able to uh, be here now talking
Mm,
about another art if it weren't for that really solid arts early education.
mm.
So shout out to all the teachers.
Yes.
So I got my professional debut at 15, doing opera that
Mm.
bridged into theater and musical theater and dance. That's where we met. We did Royal
Yes.
Caribbean. And that was right off the heels after I left college.
Mm-hmm.
I then kind of went on, I'd say like the New York Actors Marathon.
Mm.
Um, Again, aging us at that time,
Honey.
this is, I guess, maybe 20, 2009,
Yeah.
8-ish.
Yeah.
That was also the height of reality TV. So when I was in New York, that was one of my focuses,
Mm,
was getting on reality TV. That was the way.
yes.
Um, and my New York experience was, I think like a lot of actors from small towns
Hmm.
who go to these expensive schools, move to the city with a lot of hope and dream, and you just get run ragged. I
Yes.
got ran ragged.
Yeah.
Um, I also, and this isn't until like 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
after I finished school, that
Mm-hmm.
I realized that a lot of the environments that were supposed educational environments weren't the safest or most educational places for children.
Hmm. Right.
Um, and that's a part of, and again, this is aging us a bit, but this is before Me Too. This is before the Black
Yep.
Lives Matter movement.
Yep.
Um, there was a lot of scumminess and grime
Mm.
in the theater community, in the
Yeah.
entertainment community, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely succumbed to all of its highs and lows, literally and figuratively.
Oh.
And so I ended up moving back home to my small town. And the way I kind of healed and came back to myself, because I swore off theater, no more for me. I'll die. This isn't for
Yeah.
me. I'll figure out something else to do. And during that time, I discovered art therapy,
Mm.
and art became literally a safe sanctuary for me to positively and safely um, get out my emotions and work things out in the moment.
Okay.
And when I got too full, I'd be done. I painted here and there in college and in high school, but I was always surrounded by professional artists.
Yeah.
So my art was amateur in my head. Um, so I started painting for myself,
Mm-hmm.
just to feel better and to connect with myself more.
Yeah.
And my collection just accumulated and accumulated. And as I moved from town to city and city to town, I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of took all of this art with me. And each piece I can mark, like, oh, yeah, that's when I lost that job. Oh, yeah, that's when my dog
Wow.
died. Oh, yeah, that's when I realized this isn't for me. Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's when I stopped doing this or started doing that. Each is like a time
A
marker,
time. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
much like theater.
Yeah.
Everyone, has a theater family in that show. You
Yeah.
remember everything, it takes you
Yes.
right back. And that's how it is for me with my art. So, fast forward to last year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still painting, just for my own life. And I met a woman at a function I threw at my home.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, I'm an artist representative. I don't know if you have ever shown your art, but you should. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Thank you. But this isn't for y'all. This is for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying art. I'll just
Right.
make it.
Yeah.
And she left it at that.
Yeah.
And after we got to know each other over like 3 or 4 years, and she had come to many more functions at my home,
Yeah.
she kind of pressured me and pressured me. And it wasn't until this past winter, I
Mm-hmm.
was in a huge depression.
Mm.
I had lost my job, I had like no money, and I had no cable. And it
Child,
was
not
like,
the cable
what we gonna do? And it was like, girl, paint.
Yes.
And it saved my life once again.
Wow.
And as I started to do the practice of just trusting my hand,
Mm-hmm.
it helped me remember how to trust life.
Right.
And I'm happy to say I got another opportunity from that same woman, a Black woman, Violet Baldwin.
Hey,
She's
Violet.
the owner, yeah, she's the owner of Violet Baldwin's Dirty Little Gallery.
Cute.
And she represents like 60 different types of artists, from kids to older people, to professionals who've been in the business, to amateurs, to
Wow.
crafts makers, to all types of people. So I'm really proud to be a part of that group.
Yeah.
Um, and so she offered me a spot in a group show. And it was enough time in advance. It was like 8 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I can get something together. And the theme of the group show was environmental issues. So this is like winter, so December.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I got till all summer. Like I could start in the summer and I'll be good. And even if not,
Procrastination,
I got
child.
art,
Okay.
literally. And it it got to a point with COVID
Mm.
and um, just taking time to be still. Um,
Yes.
I realized that this could be an opportunity that could propel me to the life I want,
Mm.
which then called into question, what is the life you want?
Right.
Just something I'm always asking myself.
Yeah.
Because if you can dream it, you can do it.
You. Oh.
So as I think about the life I want it to be filled with art. I want to create spaces myself.
Mm.
I want to be in charge of what I'm putting out there.
Yes.
So now I think I'm jumping ahead. Before COVID, or maybe this was during
Mhm.
COVID is like the start of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
And I was, I'm not a crowds person. I'm not a protester. I don't like loud groups of
Same.
nothing. I
Groups of
won't be
people. Too much.
there. No, thank you.
Too much. Too
And
much.
truly, and it made me sick. I think the whole nation was sick.
Yeah.
Um, Learning of these stories and of these men and women of color who were lynched, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
publicly lynched. And what do we do? And it seemed very natural for people, a lot of people, to go out into the streets and protest.
Mm.
And I know that is not for me.
Right.
In fact, I was trying to go about my life, get some coffee, and I got caught in a
Oh,
protest
wow. Okay.
that was like maybe 200 people strong. And I'm in the middle of it. And I was like, nope, this isn't natural for me.
Right.
And I don't know if it will ever be.
Yeah.
Which then I put this self judgment on myself, like, well, then what are you going to do?
Mm.
And art is protest. If we think about every major event in world history, in civilization, there's always art.
Yes.
And so that felt natural. And
Mm.
so I started working on a piece called Let Them Live. And it was a mixed media piece with images actually captured by Sammy Davis Jr., who was actually a secret photographer. And he
Wow.
has a book of work
Mhm.
that is beautiful. And
Wow.
it's mostly celebrities from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But then there's this other folk like photography of just Black folk.
Mm.
And so I took some images of 6 Black boys, some who were smiling, some who weren't,
Mhm.
and juxtaposed that with pink, which is a signature color in my art,
Mhm.
um, and other mixed media. And it just came together.
Wow.
And I shared it because I felt like I needed to say something on social media. I think as everyone does.
Mhm.
Um, and that's when I realized, like, oh, people like my work.
Yeah.
Oh, my work actually might be good.
Yes.
And then once I kind of got that outside validation, it was about validating myself to
Yeah.
continue.
Yes.
I'm still struggling hardcore with imposter syndrome. Um, I it is a true process.
Mm,
And I think a lot of people in their mid 30s who going through a new career um, feel that. So I
yeah,
know I'm not alone, but
definitely not.
um, it
Definitely
is a new neuroses for
not.
me. Um, so
Yes.
I made a challenge. I said, during COVID, I want to create something every day. I
Mm,
want to not only create something every day, I want to be able to share it safely.
yeah.
I was too conscious at the time to share with even my close circle of friends.
Mhm.
So I found an online community. I got like a fake screen name and just
Oh,
started sharing my stuff.
yeah.
And this was on TikTok, actually.
Wow.
And I kid you not, it changed my life.
Oh my god.
TikTok changed my life.
Yes.
Um, at the height of COVID, it was my way to see the world. And boy, did I see the world. I
Wow.
guess because of the algorithm and China science or whatever, that
Mm.
I got to see videos of people who looked like me,
Yeah.
like actually looked like me. Their hair looked like me, their skin tone was like me. They listen to the same music I do. They're interested in the same things I am. They like the same things I like. They think the same stuff is funny that I think is funny.
Wow.
And I got to create this community that allowed me through this anonymous support and encouragement
Yeah.
to really stretch my creative bone and really drop that judgment that I
Mhm.
think we as performers always have that side coach in our head.
Always.
Um, and one thing I'm learning with art, and I'm still learning this, is that that side coach that is
Mhm.
so valuable as a musician or a performer is a true detriment to a visual artist.
Yeah.
I have no formal training as a visual artist, but I know this as soon as I get in my head, the work is dead. As soon
Yeah.
as I start comparing, the work is dead. As soon
Yeah.
as I start thinking like, oh well, this looks like, or well, people won't like it, the
Yeah.
work is
It's dead.
dead.
Yep. Yep.
And so it
I feel you.
becomes almost a like a prayer is kind
Mm.
of the way I think about it when my art is truly I think at its best is when I am treating it with reverence and treating it like it's holy
Mm.
and really connecting with spirit and my deepest spirit and being able to translate that
Yeah.
onto paper.
Yes. Yes.
So
That is I
that's
love
kind
it.
of my journey on how
That
I
is
became an artist.
I love it. I love it. But
So
that's the thing,
yeah.
like, everybody's journey is different, and everybody's journey
Hmm.
has turns and twists and falls, and,
Right.
so yeah, okay. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Thank
Who
you.
or what motivated you to, like, kinda take that first like, I know you said you went to school, like, since you were young for the arts, but was there, like,
Hmm.
somebody that was like, "You're really talented in whatever, like, you should pursue this, or you should go to school for this," or
Hmm. Twofold for
Okay.
me. I will say I knew as a very young kid
Yeah.
what I was supposed to do. I
Yes.
didn't know how it was going to work out or what
Mhm.
the name of it or the industry of it was, but
Mhm.
I knew that I'm a performer, I'm gonna perform no matter what. I'm gonna figure it out. These
That's
are the
yeah,
things I
that
like to
doesn't
do.
happen often, or
It
it
doesn't.
dies
It
out
really doesn't.
easily,
And it
but
did die out for me.
Mm.
Um, but it was very clear for me as just a young person
Mhm.
that this feels right. I should stick with this.
Okay.
However, I also had great teachers
Mm.
who looked out for me and really took extra time to make sure they knew, to make sure that I knew that they knew I was
Right.
special.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I will say in every school I've ever been in, there has been one teacher who had slid me music and slid me CDs
Mhm.
and slid me business cards and slid
Yes.
me cash for piano lessons or
Wow.
took me to hear this audition. Um, I am nothing if it weren't for the teachers who saw something in me
Yeah.
and protected that.
Mm.
Um,
That
Truly.
is
And
a special thing to
oh,
have.
yes.
That is so
Oh,
special
yes.
to have, and not
And it's not
everybody is
just
blessed
one.
with that. Yeah. That
I
yeah.
can name at least like 8 teachers who are still teaching
Wow. Wow.
who changed my life for
That's
sure.
amazing.
For sure.
That's you were meant to be in these arts, honey. Okay, because
But it's not for the faint of heart.
no,
And I'm sure
not
you've
at
heard
all.
this through
Not at
your
all.
schooling. If
Okay.
there's something else you can do it.
Yes.
And I came, I think a lot of us have been taught as well. Well, if you
Mhm.
find something else to do, then you won't ever do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, never
Right.
have a backup, never have a
Yes.
fallback, or you'll lose your focus.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that even in this incarnation, if if we stuck to that belief, we'd be on one path that
Yeah.
would have no variation.
Yeah.
And if we weren't able to manipulate and be open
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
different avenues, you wouldn't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't be doing half the
Yes.
things we do today.
That's true.
So I think we all need to remember that it's a big world out here,
Mhm.
and we are big people, and we don't have to do one thing.
Exactly.
It took me years to learn that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it
Yeah.
though. I totally get
Mm-hmm.
it.
Now I do.
Knowing from when you were a young child that that's what you were supposed to do. And it's okay if you didn't, but like, do
Mhm.
you remember there being a moment that kind of like sparked it like, oh, this is what I have to do?
I will say it was like a couple of aha moments that like
Okay.
rolled into one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in hindsight, it was me just like trusting life and like showing up
Mm,
for life.
yes.
So when I was in high school, my mother passed away. I was like 15,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a magnet arts high school at the time. So I
Okay.
would go for half the day to my public school, half
Mm-hmm.
the day to this art school,
Mm-hmm.
which was like a couple of minutes away.
Yeah.
And I was very fractioned from my public school, but I was very involved in my magnet school.
Right.
And after my mom passed away, I could tell that my teachers knew that this was a make or break it for me,
Mm-hmm.
and they someone needed to invest in me
Yeah.
and give me something to do.
Yes.
And so they basically were like, "You should look into something more serious, something more intensive, whether it's summer camp
Mm-hmm.
or uh, a 2 week whatever." Or just classes in New York for, a day.
Yeah.
And so teachers applied to schools for me on my behalf.
Wow.
And literally in a couple of months, like over the summer, it
Mm-hmm.
just steamrolled to scholarships and plane rides for auditions for free. And
Oh,
it was the first time I ever been on a plane. And people being like, yeah,
yes.
yes. And it was just like it happened. It
Yeah.
happened. Um, and that's when it was like, well, if this is happening so quick and all these strangers, then they must be right.
Mm.
That
Mm-hmm.
for me was my aha moment. Like,
Yes.
oh, wow,
Yes. To be
yeah,
guided that
yeah.
way and handed that, that I could, yeah.
Mhm. Patterns
Wow.
and
Okay.
with the performing arts, I
Mhm.
will say as many of those great aha moments, I had many other moments and highlights in my career that I squandered because of my self sabotage. And
Wow.
so I knew now coming at a new career and a new maturity, I
Mhm.
knew that self sabotage was going to rear its ugly head. And
It's always there, child, always.
yeah,
Always.
and I now realize that I would have never had a huge luminous career that I so wished for
Mhm.
um, in theater because I don't think it's really what I wanted.
Mm.
I wanted more freedom. I
Mhm.
didn't want to do 8 shows a week the
Right.
same way
Yeah.
with someone telling me, "Oh, you missed your mark on number 3 at verse 2. Make
Yeah.
sure you hit number 3."
Yeah.
There's no leeway in that. I didn't want that
Mhm.
life. I didn't want to live on a bus. I didn't want to live on a cruise ship. You know,
You're not that person. You're
I'm
not
not.
that person at
And but I
all.
didn't know who I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now that I do, I understood that this is another great opportunity,
Mm.
this artist's debut um, that very well could be squandered
Yeah.
and self sabotaged by fear,
Yes.
procrastination, just me. I put a lot of roadblocks in front of myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, And I am so happy to say that, like, for once, I did not self sabotage. And
Good.
it feels so good to
Yes.
revel in that power, you
Yes.
know?
Ooh.
It makes it way more worth it.
Yes, I bet. I bet. If it does feel good not to be in your own way and to figure out how to continuously not be in your own way. That
Yeah.
is amazing. I haven't gotten
Yes.
there yet. I'm also on that journey. But
Well, it's a journey.
it is
It's
a
a
journey.
journey.
It is. It is. So
And
yeah.
I'm sure that's a common theme in all the people that you interview is
Mhm.
that we all suffer from that inner saboteur, as RuPaul says.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and that's in every industry, in every realm.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's real.
That is real, child. That is real, honey. So, from all of your gigs that you've done, whatever artistic avenue it's been
Hmm.
on, what has been your favorite or best gig, would you say, so far?
So far,
Hmm.
I'm not crying. Um, I will have to say it was my debut.
Yes.
On Friday, it was the first time in my life where
Hmm.
I felt not only proud of what I did it for me.
Mm.
I wasn't worried about the outcome. It was also bigger than me.
Mm.
The subject of my work was all for the Black Lives Matter movement. And so that was super important. Um, I I have never been able to enjoy success in the way that I do now.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and I'm telling my friends now who don't know me as a performer or a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my only night. The flowers are here. The lights are low. The programs are out, and I will become a diva, and I have been again self sabotage. And I knew that
Oh my
coming
god.
up. I knew I had every opportunity to
Yeah.
let my ego rear its ugly head.
Mm.
And I didn't want to miss the moment, and I didn't want to dishonor the work I did.
Yeah.
Um, maybe it's different because it's not a shared work,
Mhm.
like in performing. Um,
No, but it is. I mean,
yes, yes.
it
But
is.
truly, and in the face of COVID,
Mm,
people came out safely, and the business and the gallery and my team all adapted
mm,
to the situation, and that pre-planning, um, that focus, and that really pure intention,
yeah.
I've never really experienced out
Mm,
of my 14-year career. I never had an opening night. I never had a review. I never had a gig. I never had an audition. I never got an award that felt as good
okay.
as last Friday. Being
Wow.
able to stand in my truth as
Yes.
an artist, as a Black artist talking about
Mm,
Black issues
mm.
to my personal community. That was, I'll never forget that in my life,
Yes.
ever.
Say, now that you found this and you're just,
Mhm.
it's delicious. It's everything. What would you say is your dream or your goal job or
Oh, well,
that
that
was a
is
deep sigh.
because that's a trigger. Straight up, that's a trigger for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you can have
Really,
any goal, what would
it's
you
more,
accomplish?
it's not that. It's not that. It's not where do you see
Right.
yourself. It's okay, this is how I presented it to other interviewees. I say, God came to you and said, you have 1 week to do exactly the perfect thing that you would want to do happily and not, get paid for. It's like the perfect thing that would just bring you bliss
Oh,
as a
that's
job.
so much pressure.
I know.
Do you know what? I this is weird. This is weird. This
Tell
is
me, I've
weird.
had so many different
I
answers that
have
were so
two.
surprising, but yes, this is why I ask it because people don't really think of it. We sit in the moment and we're like, what do I need to
Yeah.
do? But think about it. You know what I mean?
I haven't thought about it till just now.
Okay.
And it's like kind of clear
Hmm.
now. Who knew? Um, I would want to be a teacher.
Okay.
I come from a family of educators.
Hmm.
Teaching is very natural to me. Um, and as I start to build a business and I start to build a brand and a legacy, I know that one of those pillars is the children.
Mm.
As silly as that sounds, but if it weren't for artistic, eccentric adults who didn't give a F, I wouldn't be the adult I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if it weren't for arts programs in schools, if it weren't for other Black performers making sure Black kids saw what I did, I would not be the person I am today.
Yeah.
So I realized that service is a very big part of what I'm building.
Hmm.
And the easiest, the most natural way to do that to me feels like to teach.
Hmm.
Or
Mm.
I'd be a fisherman in the south of France. Um, Water is like, I think, what I'm missing in my life, like large bodies of water.
Yeah.
I went on an artist retreat this summer that was on the beach,
Oh,
and it was, I'm a different person at the beach. You know what I mean?
yes.
And so I want to start spending more time around large bodies of water.
Wait,
And I
I'm
feel like,
so sorry to
oh,
interrupt
wait,
because
that's right, that cruise ship.
no, there was I'm so sorry. I just it literally just hit me like
What?
a memory. It was a memory of you and me and a couple of other friends that we had on that contract on the beach. And you were so happy. And you had this box of Cheez-Its, and the
Ooh, that's my
seagulls were
beach snack.
everywhere. And you were like a 4-year-old kid. You literally grabbed a handful of Cheez-Its and threw them up. Like, literally, that was
Those are my people. Those are my people.
like,
Oh,
what are you doing?
oh,
Don't
those are my
drink.
people.
But you were so happy. And I was like, I gotta leave him alone, child. Let him be happy. You were
Yeah.
so happy. And I was
It's
like,
something about it. It's something about it. I don't know. It's for me, it used to be the city,
mm,
like New York, New York. It's
yeah,
like that's where I'm most alive.
yeah.
That's where I'm myself. But now it feels like I'm at peace with the sea. And so I feel like fishermen have a lot of silence, and
mm,
I wonder what a lot of silence and a lot of water would do for me.
yes, yes, yes.
That's my dream.
Okay. So this is our share sequence. What will you be sharing with us today for the share sequence?
So just some little highlights from my road to from studio to
Mhm,
gallery.
mhm.
Just the load in process, and then the opening night.
Oh, amazing.
Showing you some more detailed videos of the work I do and the different mediums I use. Some time lapse,
Mhm.
uh, you know, yeah, just kind of a montage, a vision of visions, if you will.
I'm loving it. Here we go.
Great. Just be very casual. Just very casual. Very casual. Oh, my shoulders.
Cameron, I forgot about
Thank you. Thank you. See, that's it. It's my hair. This is my valet.
Switched around with this. How do you?
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Ooh.
Huh. All right, well, I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But better to hear it than.
Going today. Did everything come okay?
Oh, it's hectic. This whole well,
I know.
which is good, right? In a way, it's good.
These are my ladies. This is Jill. This is my lady Amy. Little Susie. Brianna. You know why we call her Brianna, right? It's a long story. Shaniqua. Helga. Miss Kitty. Jeannie. I dream of, Teresa. This is Teresa right here.
All of my art is available for sale on
Really?
through my brand, Jack Art. That's J-A with
Oh,
2 Inuits on top. Um,
okay.
on all platforms, streaming.
So proud. So and so out.
I've got a great call out.
Yes.
I've got a great call out.
Okay, so you
And
do
this is
call out round.
so part of my I might be getting ahead of myself, but it's part of my spilling the tea.
Oh, okay.
I have a social media, I have a social media manager.
Oh,
And I challenge my social media manager
yes.
to make some art
Oh,
and post it and post it
okay. What's your social
and post
media
it.
manager's name?
Ira Car Steel Incorporated.
Okay.
Incorporated.
Incorporated. Okay.
I call
Hey,
you out.
come on, Ira. Calling you out. Calling you out.
Yes.
Calling you
Okay,
out.
that's a
Calling you
great
out.
idea.
Yes.
Call me out.
Hey.
Calling you out. Call you out. Call you
I
out.
wanted to ask what you're doing during the pandemic to kind of help continue building your craft and basically keeping the arts alive for yourself and not,
Right.
losing it. Cause if I
Yeah.
can't do what I normally do, what
Mm-hmm.
basically is, my everything, I'm not
Right.
ready.
Then who
So
are you without it?
exactly. So it's just
That
like,
was a big question. I think every body
mm,
has been asking themselves in the midst and the fallout from the pandemic, who am I without my job? Who
yeah,
am I
yeah,
without being able to go to the club? Who am
yeah.
I without a full pantry of groceries?
Right.
Who am I without my paycheck?
Mm,
Who am I without being able to go wherever I want, whenever I want? Who
yes,
am I?
yes.
And that was really big for me, asking myself, who am I without
Mm,
X, Y, and Z?
mm-hmm.
I will say the way I'm keeping arts alive for myself through this
Mm-hmm.
pandemic is education. Um, we know as performers,
Yeah.
to be a performer, you must be classically trained.
Yes.
That's in most art forms, I believe. It's you study the classics.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been studying my classics. And so what's been great about starting to share my art, I'm getting a lot of people telling me what my art looks like. Oh,
Mm,
that looks like so and so, or
mm-hmm.
that evokes so and so.
Yeah.
And getting to then research that helps me understand more about how I even got to where I am with
Right.
my art.
Right.
And so I know that as a novice in this art game,
Mm-hmm.
and as my skills continue to grow, that I have to invest in my own arts education. I'm not going to art school. I'm not taking painting classes.
Right.
Um, but I can read biographies of my favorite artists. I
Yes.
can watch YouTube videos of other artists.
Yes.
I can ask questions at the store.
Mm,
I can ask other artists, hey, how did you get started?
yeah.
Um, that's that education, that sharing of knowledge is I think what I'm lacking,
Mhm.
but I think I know that that's what will make me better
Mhm.
and keep me interested. You
Mhm.
know, the more information I have about the world I'm putting myself in,
Yeah.
the more excited I'll be.
Okay. Come with the tea. Come
Share
with
some
the tea.
tea, you say?
With the tea, boo. Ah.
Well, let me tell you the tea.
Let me
What
get
I have
comfortable.
learned in really diving in to the art world,
Mhm. My love.
have a team.
Yes.
I I knew right from the gate if I wanted to be as successful as I want to be, I
Mhm.
really needed a social media presence. I also knew very early on in me discovering that um, my art is good,
Mhm.
that I was going to have a hard time sharing that and
Yeah.
backing it up.
Yeah.
I also knew that if I wanted to create the works I make, I don't need opinions. I don't want your comments. I don't want your
Okay.
likes. You know what
Okay.
I mean? I'm
Yep.
not interested in that. Not everyone's opinion matters.
No.
And I know how susceptible I am to social media and its trappings.
Mm.
So I know that I knew that I needed help
Yeah.
and I could not do it alone. I needed someone with more knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud to say that my whole team are Black people. I I don't know any other people in the business,
Mm.
but the people who reached out to me and offered
Mhm.
their services to me
Mhm.
and made sure that they were trustworthy
Mhm.
um, just happened to be Black. I'll
Yes.
say that. So I'm really grateful that I have someone who runs my complete social media: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, sales, correspondence,
Mm.
because it frees me up to make more art and live the life I want.
Yep.
I also am getting great business advice from him
Mhm.
about becoming an LLC,
Mhm.
about other artists, about the market, about
Yeah.
pricing, about just posting. Like, what do
Mhm.
people want?
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm really, really lucky that that's someone I have in my corner,
Mhm.
and it's someone I trust.
Yeah.
Um, that's my tea. I would not be where I
Yes.
am right now, basking in the glow of a fabulous opening
Mhm.
without a social media manager and kind of brand manager now.
Yeah.
Um, Ira Car Steel
Come through, Ira.
Incorporated.
Hey.
That's my tea.
I love it. That is some good tea. And it's not your normal like shady tea. And
Mm-mm.
we don't need always like to have shady tea, child. It could be some good tea that people be like,
Now I can tell you some shady tea about some
oh,
theater people,
oh,
but I'll get banned from these
grab
internets. I
look,
know
he went and grabbed the
stories.
cup again. He was like, well, I can tell you.
I know stories. But they aren't my stories to tell.
And there you have it. Well, now that you've shared some tea,
Yeah.
we're going to move on to our Black History moment. Do you have a Black History
Yes,
moment to share with us, Lawrence? I know you do. I know you do.
I do.
Come through. What do you have
And
for us?
it comes back to education.
Mm,
Um, I didn't realize that I am a product of the Black arts movement
mm-hmm.
that took place from 1965 to 1975.
Okay.
Kind of how it started was after the death of Malcolm X, and the
Mhm.
Black Panther Party started to kind of splinter. There was basically one facet of the splintering that really wanted to focus on the arts.
Mhm.
It was from these groups of artists like John Coltrane,
Mm.
Maya Angelou, Giovanni,
Mm.
Sonia Sanchez,
Yes.
um, Miles Davis, like
Mhm.
these artists
Yeah.
who are now icons. At
Yes.
the time, these were young people who were inspired by a movement.
Mhm. Mhm.
There would be no Black Lives Matter movement
Right.
if it weren't for those patriarchs and matriarchs. Without Maya Angelou, we would not have Jill Scott.
Mm.
Without uh, James Baldwin, we would not have Billy Porter.
Right.
And so realizing that we are the next movement, this is the next
This is it.
movement.
This is it.
And to be an artist in that movement, I
Mhm.
take that seriously now with knowing my own history.
Yeah.
Um, we as a people, as just an American people,
Mhm.
we've changed the world. The immigrants of America
Hmm.
changed the world.
Yeah.
There's also no other place in the world like America
Yeah.
where your dreams can come true.
Okay.
And so even the act of us talking about our dreams is revolutionary.
Yes.
I am the child of a sharecropper's daughter.
Mhm.
My parents were the first people in their families to go to school, to graduate
Mm.
high school, to go to college, to vote, to march, to have certain jobs,
Yeah.
to live in certain neighborhoods.
Mm.
And part of the reason they got there was from the music of Aretha Franklin
Mm.
and the poetry of Sonia Sanchez and
Yeah.
the words of Malcolm X and the
Yes.
music of Miles Davis. And part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is the SZAs and the
Mhm.
Janae Aikos and the
Right.
Commons and the Angela Rise
Yes.
and the Tamikas and
Mhm.
the Baraks and
Yes.
you know what I mean? So I know that even this is revolutionary,
Mm.
and we are history in
Yes.
the making.
Yes. Yes. Flip it, boo.
Support Black artists.
Now. Now. Okay. Oh my
So,
gosh.
and
Yes.
it's weird to, I think you can, maybe you can't, but I know coming up, um, Black artist was not what I leaned on and not what I led with.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I'm an
Right.
artist.
Yeah.
Um, and putting that type of label on yourself, especially in our industry at the time I was in it,
Mhm.
sadly was a detriment.
Yeah.
I hope that that is no longer the case as these movements go. Black Power, Black is Beautiful, Black Lives Matter. Um, I hope this one doesn't fade. I hope that the organizations and the groups that have been formed during this quarantine,
Mhm.
especially in the theater community, watching on the outside,
Mhm.
I really hope that uh, y'all are able to wield your power.
Yeah.
Because there's no theater without Black people.
Nope.
We invented it.
Yep.
Check your history.
Check it, boo. Check it. Sip it.
And that's the tea.
And that was some good tea, honey. That was some good Black
Ah,
history tea. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. So anyway, now that we're coming to a close, can you give us, your audience, some encouraging words, maybe some encouraging words to those who are out there just starting out, those who are just, feeling a certain kind of way and can't come out of their feelings about what's going on? Just anything to kind of help and uplift and,
Yeah.
you know.
This is what I didn't know I needed.
Hmm.
I didn't know I needed to uh, reevaluate the learned judgment of self and judgment of others
Hmm.
in a performing aspect.
Mm.
Um, that is just part of the game. It's
Yeah.
the nature of the beast. It's helpful and detrimental, but it is necessary.
Hmm.
That judgment is, I would imagine, like an ice skater has that same kind of
Yeah.
dichotomy,
Yeah.
or like a high performing athlete. Um, However, for me in the art world, as soon as I uh, decided that judgment of myself and others
Hmm.
um, wasn't going to help me or propel me,
Right.
that's when things really opened up.
Hmm.
Once I got curious instead of judgmental,
Yeah.
um, things changed. So my advice really is to find other artists online, mind you. Like, you're not gonna be able to just walk out the street and be like,
Right.
"Oh, hello, other artists." Um, find other artists online who you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and start talking to them. I'm not on Twitter. I don't like do the Twitter.
Nor do
Um, but even on Instagram, um, a simple like heart eye emoji
yeah.
is like, that does something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
You
does.
see me. You
Yes.
see me.
Yes.
Um, you like me.
Right. Right.
That is something small.
Mm.
And that's a way for us to build a community.
Mhm.
I know that I need to build a community. I don't have one here. I didn't come up as an artist. I don't have a school behind my name. I don't have some mentor
Yeah.
to precede me. Um, and so I have to build a community where I am. So I'm looking for other artists who are just starting out, millennials like myself,
Mhm.
who are scared, who still work their 9 to 5, but their passion is calling them and
Yeah.
driving them.
Yes.
And it's a big world out here. I can find them.
Mhm.
And then once I did, it was so easy to make friends.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm on the phone with these people at night and like writing letters.
Right.
It's just that mutual support. Hey, I like what you did there. That's a cool color.
Mhm.
Wow, like, so
Yeah.
glad you got this many views. That's great. Let me know if I can share this for you.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
that sharing with each other, sharing with the world,
That's huge.
right now, I think is what we need. Um, this is a form of sharing.
Yeah.
Um, that's important to
Yeah.
be, and just as Black artists,
Mhm.
um, it's really important for me to see myself.
Mhm.
Um, if there was no Basquiat, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Um, if there was no Basquiat, some weird guy with dreads and scribbly hands,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be taken seriously today.
Mm.
Um, if it weren't for people on the internet who looked like me, who are curious if
Yeah.
their art is good, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have the
Yeah.
confidence. So my advice is find your tribe online safely.
Safely. Capitalize, boldface,
Safely.
underline,
Safely.
safely.
Safely. If you're above the age of 18 with
Yes.
parental guidance.
Get it right.
But yeah, that saved me.
Yeah.
That's what's helping me out.
I love it. Oh, all right.
And this is little. This is little.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped watching TV.
Mm.
We
It,
all got Netflix.
it's
We only watch the same two
right.
shows.
And you can always
And
go and watch that. That you can time it.
hmm
You could schedule that into
I got rid of
your
it.
downtime, your free time. It's true.
But silence, learning to be still and learning to love silence.
Mm.
Thank you, quarantine. Um, that helped me. That helped me. As a busybody, that
Yes.
helped me. Silence.
Because it's a lot going on in here.
Hmm
A lot. A lot. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah,
Jack, honey, Lawrence Jack.
thank you. Thank you. No pictures. No pictures.
I love you, honey. I love you so much. And I'm
Love you
so glad
too.
that we've connected. Like, this is
Thank
amazing.
you. I love you, Erlene.
I love you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Same to you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
uh, it's, yeah, this is
Thank
everything.
you.